A lot more people than you think suffer from arachnophobia. Now, that may be a fancy city word for all simple folk down here in the swamps of Louisiana, but that's just the name of the game. The name for the primal fear of something poisonous, lurking, weaving traps, able to scale just about any surface. Now, don't get me wrong. A spider the size of a quarter, it ain't much of a hassle to handle. But when you see an 8-legged arachnid monster crawling through your barn, now that's when you call us hunters over to get the goddamn job done. The spider, as we tend to call these creatures, strikes the ardent oculist as one of the most outlandish and monstrous examples of the hysteria that has gripped the Bayou. An example, though, that vindicates this same hysteria. References of these monsters keep popping up throughout the whole archive, of something not quite human, but not quite a spider either. More of a semi-sentient mass of limbs, poisonous in both body and intent. Yeah, something like that. We hunters approach this sort of situations practically, well, as much as one can when dealing with a half-human, half-mutant disgusting son of a bitch. Most information preserved is concerned with how to combat such a beast. It hits like a truck, then backs down into the shadows, and then it hits you right up again. The best advice I can give you to deal with these creatures is to always keep moving, as the spider can apparently spit poison, and let me tell you, that shit will linger in the air for a while. Use melee weapons, those that can slash or pummel. They have proved mighty effective at rending its limbs and breaking its bones. Poison and toxins, on the other hand, you might as well be hitting it with a newspaper, son. I'm sure their more serious study of the source text will doubtlessly reveal more insights, but I'll leave that homework to you. The best source I have found to work with, though, were the interviews given by the notorious John Victor. A detailed physical description and at least reference to Black and his cognomilion. The latter one suspiciously silent about the subject in his own writings. Some pages are missing though, but the most relevant I reproduce right here for you. What is known though, is that the spider is of the greater possession of the greater evil that lurks in here. All the more that we can discover of it, the more clearly that we can see the picture as a whole. Now, I will leave you with some of those John Victor recorded interviews. See if you can find a tip or two, and if you do find something, please let me know, cause around here, the work is never done.
Interview with John Victor concerning the spider. Interviewer T. Collins. Undated. Typewritten. Questions omitted. 8.5 inches by 11 inches. Chapter 2.
Of Dr. Reader was no sign, but the rest of his party. Yeah, the rest of his party was dead. I don't know how long they were holed up in there, hard to tell. But the bodies were wasted thin, sprawled where they'd fallen, flies covering them like grape clots. The chest disemboweled and organs consumed. It's a nasty picture altogether, I tell you. I dug a pit as the rain poured. That extortion and the cold wet exhausted me. I dragged the first body through the mud from the barn to the hole. I left a trail of offal. That's when the crows flocked in. They rose, cawing murder each time I passed through with another corpse. When my back turned, they all descended back to the entrails. Faster each time. The final was the smallest. A child, a little girl. I remember her face. Little blank eyes. The crows did not rise this time. They were well fed, so I kicked them aside. Dragging the body of the girl through the mud, I was too weak to even shoulder her. Night fell as I backfilled the mouse grave. The crows mournfully scorned the remainder of their feast. Oh, you wanna know about the first time I fought the spider? Yeah, I remember that night. I remember that pin. I remember the child's face. She was swimming up at me, out of southern earth and bird memory. We never again found the grave I dug. Too many long nights, too many crumbling barns, too many pits excavated in earth torn 100 times, plowed by procession of hunters burying the dead and killing them again. But it was the girl's eyes, leering out of all of the spider's flesh, screeching and bleeding, hell, even spitting. The poisonous bile burned my eyes like hell. I was blinded. I stumbled out of its nest just to close my eyes to clear them. Seeing that eye, the thought did strike me that Reed was responsible for all this, but that was darn near impossible. Even in his most macabre faculties, he came up short. The spider, that thing was the work of something far more evil, something more primal.
Interview with John Victor concerning the spider. Interviewer T. Collins. Undated. Typewritten. Questions omitted. 8.5 inches by 11 inches. Chapter 3. The others refused to hear of such a thing and were yet inclined to disbelief. My legitimacy at that point was waning, but I didn't recognize it then. Hindsight is 20/20. John, I remember Huff saying, your account is simply misguided. The form this being has taken, that of a spider, is of the class Arachnida. Insects are of course insecta. Our accounts of the demon all align on the simple observation that in all its diverse manifestations it favors a form of the insect, that which most align with its inner malignant machinations, or some waffle like that, and the others agreed. Then the other hunters brought in their reports that such a beast did in fact exist. It went at odds with everything we knew. First of all, why a spider? Scognomilio, a genius, if there ever was one dumb enough to hunt, figured it out, of course, why it was different, what it was for. For me, it was too late. The damage to my reputation was done. The HAA in disarray. Well, that's another story. One I'm sure we'll have time to go into. But that's all to do with the twins anyway. We did what we could to kill it, and a hunter did so. Some Daniel Glandon. Oh, that name familiar to you? It was the first I knew of. We all breathed a sigh of relief when the news came in. Then another hunter made a claim to have killed it again, and proved it. Then another hunter, and then yours truly managed to kill the beast. I did what I could to verify the stories, but a pattern emerged. There was more than one of these things, but the catch is there's never more than one at once. If that makes any sense to ya. It was reforming. Scognomilio would have been able to explain it better. As the money rolled in, the competition became fiercer. You know how it goes. Friendly rivalries became outright firefights. We all wanted a piece of it. Although not in a literal sense, since vanishing burns up most of the body. We weren't getting any closer though, and though I'd seen him once,
That girl's face never